Did someone say tacos? Well, hold the guac and buckle up because this isn't about your Tuesday night cravings. It's about Donald Trump getting absolutely grilled by Wall Street. That's right, the president just found out he's the punchline to a financial acronym, TACO, as in Trump always chickens out. And let me tell you, it wasn't served with a side of dignity. Welcome back to the political punchline, the only place where we unpack the absurdity of politics with the sharp edge of satire and the sting of truth. I'm Sasha Sharp. Let's dig in. So, what exactly sparked the Taco Trump moment that has social media, the markets, and Trump's ego all in a state of meltdown? It started in the Oval Office, or as Trump likes to call it, the Ego Dome. In a Q&A session that was supposed to be business as usual, a reporter went rogue with a question so spicy it could have come wrapped in a tortilla. Wall Street, it seems, has coined a term, the taco trade, because Trump always chickens out. Particularly when it comes to tariffs, he talks tough, slaps on some sky-high numbers, and then inevitably backs down like a fourth grader who realizes the spelling bee word is actually anti-dice establishmentarianism.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. You know, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things, and you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question. Go ahead. To me, that's the nastiest question. Wait a minute.
Here's the deal. Trump's tariff threats are less economic strategy and more WWE pre-match trash talk. He loves to posture, throwing out 145% tariffs on China like he's playing Monopoly on hard mode, and then backpedals the moment the markets twitch. Classic Trump, start a fire, then blame the smoke detector. But when that reporter dropped the taco bomb in front of the cameras, Trump was visibly rattled. You could practically hear his internal monologue short-circuiting. His response? A rambling, sweaty diatribe about negotiations, tariffs, and Saudi Arabia. Because, of course, he tried to spin it as smart deal-making. But let's be honest, the markets, analysts, and apparently half of Wall Street know a bluff when they see one. Hence the acronym TACO. And suddenly, Trump's bravado became the butt of the financial world's latest joke.
Yeah.
How will the confrontation with Harvard end? Do you foresee?
I don't know. I don't know. Harvard's got to behave themselves. Harvard is treating our country with great disrespect, and all they're doing is getting in deeper and deeper and deeper. They've got to behave themselves. You know, I'm looking out for the country and for Harvard. I want Harvard to do well. I want Harvard to be great again, probably, because how could it be great? How could it be great when you have Harvard announced 2 weeks ago that they're going to teach remedial mathematics, remedial, meaning they're going to teach low-grade mathematics, like 2 + 2 is 4. How did these people get into Harvard if they can't do basic mathematics? How did they do it? I mean, people with 1,600 on their boards don't get in, and they're letting people in, and they're bragging about how they're teaching them basic mathematics. Where did these people come from? So we have to look at the list, and Harvard has to understand the last thing I want to do is hurt them. They're hurting themselves. They're fighting. You know, Columbia has been really, they were very, very bad what they've done. They're very anti-Semitic and lots of other things. But they're working with us on finding a solution. And, you know, they're taking off that hot seat. But Harvard wants to fight. They want to show how smart they are, and they're getting their ass kicked.
But the episode didn't stop at tacos. No, Trump was on a full-throttle rant, dragging Harvard into his crosshairs like it personally betrayed him in a group project. According to Trump, Harvard wants to fight and is getting their ass kicked. Reality check. Harvard is offering a free online course on how to recognize authoritarianism and constitutional decay, which ironically sounds like a direct response to his entire administration. It's almost poetic. While Trump flails against basic governance like it's a liberal conspiracy, universities are out here giving people the tools to spot a dictatorship forming in real time. Oops. Oh, and Fox News judge Jeanine Pirro is now a federal attorney because nothing says rule of law like promoting a cable TV host to public office. That's not satire. That's just America 2025.
Well, certainly, Joe, Harvard is one of the preeminent universities in the world. And I think President Trump has a real knack for tapping into what a lot of people in the country, as you said, many parts of the country might look at and go, wait a second. They have a $53 billion endowment, and yet my tax dollars are going for about $9 billion right now. I understand a lot of that is for research, good research, by the way. And universities should continue to be able to do research as long as they're abiding by the laws and are in sync, I think, with the administration and what the administration is trying to accomplish, but primarily abiding by the laws. And when we looked at different aspects of what Harvard was doing relative to anti-Semitism on its campuses, they were not enforcing Title VI the way it should be. And we had conversations with President Garber, and I expected that we would have more, but Harvard's answer was a lawsuit, so that's where we find ourselves, right now. But it is, I think the president is looking at this as, okay, how can we really make our point? And what are the things that Harvard and other universities are doing that we have to call attention to? And when you look at these endowments, $53 billion at Harvard, that endowment doesn't sit still. It's invested. And if it can have a return of 5, 7, maybe sometimes 10% on that endowment, that's billions of dollars, that's maybe, as the president is looking to increase the endowment tax, that's something that the American public could wrap its head around. So I think that there are a lot of issues, that we can look at, and we'd like to continue to talk to Harvard.
Then there's Linda McMahon. Yes, that Linda McMahon, who thinks universities should align with the administration's values. Like a dictatorship would. This is the same Linda McMahon who ran World Wrestling Entertainment and now wants to body slam the Department of Education into partisan submission. Apparently, free speech on college campuses is fine, until it's critical of Trump, and Title VI protections against anti-Semitism, used selectively, depending on whether the institution is playing nice with MAGA HQ. The irony? Trump's entire administration is allergic to facts, allergic to criticism, and now allergic to universities that teach the Constitution, maybe because if more people understood it, they'd realize how much he tried to burn it. Let's also not gloss over the meltdown itself, that glorious unraveling moment when Trump was asked about the taco trade and he lost it. "That's a nasty question," he said, as if honesty is somehow disrespectful. And in his desperate attempt to reassert alpha dominance, he went on a tangent about how he made $5.1 trillion in Saudi Arabia in 2 hours. Yeah, sure, that's only about 15% of the entire US GDP. But hey, what's a few $1 trillion between friends? The guy even tried to play the macho card, again, while wearing foundation and hairspray thick enough to qualify as a structural material. Look, there's nothing wrong with makeup, but when you're trying to be the poster boy of machismo, don't throw a fit because Wall Street called you a chicken. So, what does all this mean? It means Wall Street doesn't fear Trump, academia doesn't respect him, and even his own administration can't get through a press conference without sounding like a satire sketch. More importantly, it means the country is watching, from everyday Americans worried about jobs and inflation to global investors trying to decipher if U.S. policy is coming from Washington or a Mar-a-Lago bingo night. The Taco Trump moment is more than just a headline. It's a metaphor, one messy bite at a time, of a presidency that promises fire, delivers mild sauce, and then blames the waiter. If that breakdown hit harder than a tariff hike, do us a favor. Smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It helps us bring more biting commentary and hard truths straight to your feed. We're building a space where wit meets truth, and we need your voice in the mix. So stay sharp, stay bold, and never settle for mild. I'm Sasha Sharp, and this has been The Political Punchline.